board. Let's go ahead, get started. Happy Monday. Welcome to my class. Today is August the 26th. Link to class Nearpod as well as the calculator is in the chat. Welcome, Lily, William, welcome. I see here Alina, Amani, Andre, Blake, Brady, JJ, Maddie, Maddie L, and Maddie M. Make sure you will sign in using first name and last initials. Maddie L, Maddie M. Marshall, Rania, William, Yesley, welcome to class. Please join Nearpod as you join class. Let's go ahead and get started. Some agendas and reminders. These are the modules that are due for this week with 2 quizzes. These quizzes are due by Friday. I will go over this 1.08 quiz tomorrow. I'll go over 2.02 quiz on Friday, right? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Lesson target. Today is a brand new lesson. Probably most of you have not learned this before. In this lesson, you will learn to convert a very small or very large number to scientific notation. Convert a very small or very large number written in scientific notation to standard form. So we will learn it both the ways. We will learn how to write a number into scientific notation, and we will also learn how to convert from scientific notation to standard form. Now, what does all that mean? Let's go ahead and look at some examples. The base of a scientific notation lies with 10 to the powers. The base of the scientific notation lies with 10 to the power of something. And this is something that we can connect to. This is something that you guys can connect to. Therefore, this is my warm-up question. You may use the calculator. Link to the calculator is here in the chat. Please use the calculator. Find the values of the following expressions. Find the values of the following expressions. In Nearpod, I see Andre, Blake, Dariana, Johnny, Marshall, Rania, and William. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. Use the calculator. In fact, I should just give you a minute. Quickly find the value of these 10 to the powers. Just a minute. Camera started. I see Johnny's answer. Johnny, excellent. I'm so proud of you. You know 10 to the power of 5. Blake, excellent. Very proud of you. William, excellent. Rania, very good. Carmen, Dariana. I want to see more people in Nearpod. Alina, Amani. Blake, I agree to you. Birdie, I want to see you in Nearpod, dear. Carmen, I want to see you in Nearpod. Drake, Nearpod. Blake, excellent. Oh, William, reconsider your next answer, the second answer with a negative power. Let me see, Rania, reconsider your second answer is off by a little bit. Marshall, excellent with the first one. And Johnny, I agree to both. That's a minute already. All right, that's a minute already. So ladies, welcome to class. I want to see you guys in Nearpod so I can see your work and give you guys feedback. William, I agree to you, dear. I am so proud of you. Very good, very good. Everybody, please join Nearpod. A lot of the 8th grade math questions are just coming straight from a calculator. If you know how to use it, you probably are successful. There's no rocket science. This is a new topic, but not a hard one. Okay, raise your hand if you want to talk about the first one. 10 to the power of 5. 10 to the power of 5. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you because I know a lot of you guys are still learning how to use the calculator, right? And here it is, 10 to the power of 5. The keyboard, I do 10 to the power of 5, right? Power A to the power of B. This is the first row. This A to the power of B. It will open up the option to give power to the number. Click this, 10 to the power of 5. I want one person to read the number for us. 10 to the power of 5. How do we read it? Alina, Nearpod isn't working, dear. You can also type your answer here in the chat. I am looking at it. I got 3 screens. I can see what you guys type in Nearpod, in chat. Raise your hand, hop on the mic, read this number. Or type the number. How do we read this number in the chat? 10 to the power of 5. Drake, you know how to read it? Ten to the power of 5. This is the answer. You know how to read it. Felice, give it a try. Tell me how to read it. It's not a really big number. It's not so unreadable. I'm going to see how you guys read it. See, Felice, what does it start with? It starts with 100, right? 100, and then it has 3 zeros. So 100, 100,000 is correct. Very good, very good. Excellent, 100,000. Remember, I'm going to go back to my lesson objective. Let me go up. Oh, well, let's go ahead, look at the negative power first. So 10 to the power of, right? We want to give power. How? A to the power of B. This is the button I click. These are some buttons we have to start to learn. Negative 4 means a negative sign is here. It's also the minus sign to the power of 4. Now here is important. Your Nearpod William isn't working either. No problem. Rania, what happened? I hope. You want to read this one? Amani, excellent. You guys know how to read this? You guys know how to read this one? And JJ? How do we read this one? You really not necessarily have to know how to read it as long as you write it correctly. Anybody in class knows? Well, let's see. If there was just one decimal, right, there was a 1, we could say it's tens, then hundreds, thousands, and 10,000. So this is 1 10,000, right? This is a 10,000. 10,000. 10 to the power of negative 4. Well, why are we learning all this? I'm going to go back to my lesson objective. It's at the top of each and every slide. I'm not going to have to go back a few slides. And it says, my lesson objective here says, why are we learning all these powers? Because we are learning to convert very small or very large numbers. Right? We're learning to convert very small or very large numbers to scientific notations. When we are doing scientific notations, you will see that we are converting numbers in the form of a unitary number and timesing it by 10 to the power of something. But I'm going to show you some good examples. William, I like your slide. Very creative one. And here we are. Please, students, make sure you practice this enough to understand the topic. Okay. Well, in your own mind, right, before I teach you much, how do you think mathematicians and scientists express numbers that are too big or too small? Right? Okay, William. How do you think mathematicians and scientists express numbers that are too big or too small? Consider an easy number like this one. Okay. This is a little big number. How do mathematicians and scientists want to express numbers that are too big and too small? Okay. It is a discussion post question so that your response is visible to the class and we can read it and we can comment on it. Let's get started. And I'm going to allow you guys 2 minutes to answer here in the discussion post and we'll start to see what do you have. I do encourage you guys to post an original post and then respond back to at least one student. 2-minute timer has started. How do you think mathematicians and scientists express numbers that are too big or too small? Yes, Lily? Use your resources. Alina, I received your response, dear. I appreciate you informing me. William says, when they look at where the decimal or the comma is, I love that, William. Police, I think by putting X at the end. Zara says, writing in standard form. Zara, standard form are big numbers. Standard form is like this. This is standard form and they take up a lot of space. This is standard form. Okay, Zara? And then this is also standard form. They take up just too much space. And the small one is this. Take up too much space. Okay, this is standard. These are too big or too small numbers and take up a lot of space, Zara. And my timer says we still have 40 seconds more. Please, students, make some meaningful contributions. Amani, type here in the chat. Hop on the mic. These are all the multiple ways you could still be participating, right? How do you think scientists will and mathematicians write too small or too big numbers? By the end of this class, you should have a nice idea about it. Timer says 10 seconds more. And I have no more time left. Guess what? William, Felice, and Zara. Note the names, note your names, William, Felice, and Zara. You earn 1 point by making the contribution, an easy contribution. And in any case, if your quiz does not look like a perfect grade that you want, send me an email and I'll give you a bonus point. That works, William, Felice, and Zara? Yes, look at Felice's beautiful face. So happy to hear that, right? Okay, let's go ahead and move on. I do have a little response, but that's my personalized response to that discussion. Here we are. Here is Zara will remember, William will remember, right? It's the good thing. Here we are about scientific notation, right? This is what Zara, right? You said standard, but it's actually scientific notation. What scientists do, they will change the number like this. They will make it into a unitary number, will have only ones, and then times it by 10 to the power of something. Okay, the C is going to be important. C is that first number, right? It is coming from the original number. JJ, no problem. I'm just talking about it. Okay, just keep in mind the rule for C. What does C have to be? Can anybody in the class read what C has to be? It has to do with greater and less than stuff. You know how to read the rule for C? C is the original given number, actually. When you convert into scientific notation, C has to be, what is connection with the 1? C has to be greater than or equal to 1. And C has to be less than 10. So it becomes a unitary number, right? With only ones. But if this JJ seems to be a little hard to understand, no problem. Here are a lot of practice questions I have for you. I'll make sure you will understand it by the end of this class. First, I will show you this example that says A, right? In example A, notice this is C, right? This is the first number. It is 7.4. 7.4 only has ones. This is greater than or equal to 1 and less than 10. It's not a 2-digit number, but there can be numbers after the decimal, right? 7.4. And then, so that I can actually represent the real number, I'll just do times 10 to the power of 5. This does not seem to be a big number to you yet. Go to your calculator, type in this number, and you'll see this is a big number. Let's go to the calculator. Everybody go to the calculator, type in the calculator before I will, and tell me how much is the real value of this number. Calculator. Let me see who's going to be the first 2 people will type in the chat the value of this number. 7.4 times 10 to the power of 5. That's all it has to do with the calculator. This is a big number. They just wrote in scientific notation, so it is a little shrink and takes up less space. Is that 740,000? That looks correct. Rania, that looks correct. Zara, that looks correct. So let's do 7.4 times 10. And this is how I give a power, a to the power of b. Click this. To the power of 5. You guys are right. 740,000. This is the actual number, right? Let's go back, type that in. Right? This is an example of a scientific notation. 7.4 times 10 to the power of 5 is an example of scientific notation. And Rania was talking about notation. Standard notation is this. It will say, well, this is the actual number hiding behind the scientific notation. This is standard. Well, let's try the next one. 3.96 seems to be, oh my gosh, Amani, you are so fast. 3.96 times 10 to the power of -4 might seem to be a little bigger than its actual number. Amani put it in the calculator and Amani says, well, the number has 0.30 here. The calculator told him that, and times 3, and then 396. This is the actual number standard, and this is the scientific notation. Guys, do you notice in scientific notation, there's only ones. There's no tens and hundreds. If you understand this, your scientific notation will become easy. Although it's a small number, when they convert it into a scientific notation, they just make sure there's just going to be ones, and then the rest will go behind decimal. Then, keeping in view how many decimals we moved, right? They put a power. Let's see how they got that -4 power, right? Look here. I made it. Look, this says 3.96. 3.96, right? The actual number was 0.00396, right? How many decimals were moved? 1, 2, 3, and 4. That is why they multiplied by 10 to the power of -4. A negative power is showing you that the actual number was too small. Got it? Let's look at this one. 7.4 times 10 to the power of 5. Well, where did they get the power of 5 from? I know we can only have ones. We can only have ones. That means the decimal is supposed to be right here in scientific notation. The actual decimal in 740,000 is over here, right? How many places was the decimal moved so that we change it to a scientific notation? Let's see. They had moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So they did 7.4 times 10 to the power of 5. And 10 to the power of 5 means, you guys just told me what does 10 to the power of 5 mean. 10 to the power of 5, you put in the calculator and you guys told me it is 100,000, right? 10 to the power of 5 is 100,000 and you did 7.4 times 100,000. So 7.4 times 100,000 gives you this, right? But again, it takes too much space. So scientists and mathematicians love to write it like this. So it just takes less space. Is everybody a little bit more clearer than they were when we first started? Right? Okay, let's see how well you guys are learning. As long as I'm going to be doing the thing will look easy. When you will practice doing it, you will actually know where we are over here in the red, yellow, green. Let's look at this one. What can you say about A? Is A too big or too small? A is too big, right? The power of 10 is going to be positive. The power of 10 is going to be positive. Well, can you write this number so that it will just have ones? Right now it has 1,000, million, billion, 4 billion, 25 million. Oh, that's big. I cannot have this in scientific notation. The only thing allowed in scientific notation is to have ones. Can you guys at least write down how this will look like in ones? You can type in the chat, you can type in the Nearpod slide. Where will I place the decimal? The original decimal is right here. But in the scientific notation, where will I place the decimal so it will only have ones? I like it, Rania. Very good. So a scientific notation, a scientist or a mathematician will actually put the decimal here. Now it's going to be 4.025. Let me write down. Make it a little bit fine. 4.025 because scientists and mathematicians just want ones, right? 4.025. Now the number is manageable and readable, 4.025. And 000s, if you want, you can put, but not really needed. Times 10. And remember, power is going to be positive because the actual number was big. Can you tell me what is going to be the power of 10? Oh, Rania thinks it's 9. What about others? Type in the chat. Rania thinks 9. What about others? There is a class of 30 students. I better hear from 30 students. Rania, you earned a credit from me for this quiz. This upcoming quiz is 1.08, is over scientific notation. In case you don't earn a perfect score, remember you earned that 1 point for me by answering first. That is wonderful. No, Amani, we cannot have 40. In scientific notation, we can have ones, 4.025 times 10 to the power. This is the missing power. I'm thinking what's going to go for power. Let's count. Okay, I think Johnny is thinking about the power of 10. William is thinking. Felice, Marshall, Kelly, Zara, Drake, Blake. Everybody think. Amani. 6 alone. Let's see. These are 3 zeros, so I move 3 places, right? Then JJ, you are right. Amani, you're right. Then I move 3 more places. Then I move 3 more places. They're actually 9. From the actual decimal to where the scientists will put it, there were 9, right? From the actual decimal to where the scientists will place it, we move 9. So it's 9 to the power of 9. Guess what? Put this in the calculator. Does it look right? Go put this in the calculator. Tell me something. What does it look like? Does it look like the actual number? This is how you can check. Remember, you have your calculator. Calculator will always tell you the right answer. Let me go. And we decided we want to call it 4.25 times 10. This is the symbol for giving the power to the power of 9. It is, oh, that's what I'm going to give it. You know what? This Desmos calculator is called a scientific calculator. It's called a scientific calculator. And that's why the calculator did the same what I did. The calculator's brain is thinking, well, this person is entering in a really big number and I want to give them answer in scientific notation. Right? And they didn't lay out the number, but they gave me a scientific notation value because the number is too big to fit in the calculator space. The calculator has certain number of digits they will want to put in. And if the digits exceed, they will give you answer in scientific notation. And when you're going to go in higher level math and science classes, you will start to notice that more and more. So then I'm guessing the STAR test will definitely be asking you questions that will be bigger than what your calculator can do. So calculator will always give you scientific answers. Well, let's look at this one. The next one. Is it a too big number or a too small number? Too big, too small? It is too small. In my brain, I know the power of 10 is going to be a negative power because I am converting a very small number, right? My 10 to the power is going to be a negative number. Well, where the scientists will place the decimal, if we want to have ones right now, the ones, notice, is 0. We don't want a 0. Our ones is going to be 1 or more, but less than 10. But this is not 1 or more. It's a 0. We don't need that. We want the ones to be between 1 and 10. Where will the decimal go for that? Can someone type in the chat? Let me see. I'm giving you guys extra credits all this throughout the class as you participate. Drake, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Drake is going to say, Messiah, how about we place the decimal here? You're right. Then the ones becomes 5, 5.91. Let's write it here. Ones will become 5, and then decimal 91. Let's see how many places the scientists move the decimal. Here, right? How many places did we have to move? Count. This is just has to be doing with counting. Let me see who's going to type in the chat first. Make sure you will give me a power, negative power, right? 6, Drake, Ramya, Zara, excellent. Let's see. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 to the power of -6 is correct. Before I'm going to move on to a little practice, I want to see how ready you are. Click the red, yellow, or the green button to show me how ready you are. We're going to get into a little competition right now. Tell me where you are. Those of you who are in the Nearpod, please do that. Those of you who are not in Nearpod, you can just send a straight message to me that doesn't show to the class. Where you are in the learning cycle, red, yellow, or green. Red means you are a little bit extra stuck. Yellow means you kind of understand. Green means you are good to fly. Okay, Salone, I received it. Rani, I received it. It's a new topic. Yellow is a good color to be on. We will also practice it tomorrow. Tomorrow, more of my focus is going to be to show you star questions, and you will love them. Okay? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. I have 8 questions. I will turn the timer on for 2 minutes. Do as many as you can. I'm going to turn the timer on for 2 minutes. Show me as many as you can. This has to be with drilling. What do we have to do? We want to write the numbers in standard form. 2-minute timer starts. Write in standard form. Okay. We will also grade ourselves. Make sure you write big and clean. Write down big and clean all your answers. Be honest with the grading. Standard form is the one that Rania was thinking, right? Not science. These are scientific given to you. Times 10 to the power means scientific, but you're going to give me standard. 1 minute, 30 seconds left. You don't have to do them all. You don't have to. Do as many as we can, and we will compare as a class how many we were able to do correctly. I agree to Dariana. Very good. Johnny, I agree to you. Felice, I agree to you. Timer says 1 minute only. At least do 3 in these 2 minutes. I would be still happy if you guys can do 3. Use the calculator, dear, if you're a little confused. Most of these answers will come from the calculator. You a little confused? Maddie, we still have 33 seconds. I'm going to show you how I will use the calculator on the first one. Maddie, look here. The first one is supposed to be a smaller number. It says 2 times 10. Right, Maddie? To the power. That's how I give a power, a to the power of b. I click this, and the power is supposed to be 4. And that gave me the answer, Maddie. Right? There's a different strategy to this that I can also talk about. Okay, timer says time's up, right? Let's go and see how you guys did and how many you got correct. Are you guys willing to check? Ready to check your answers? Are you guys ready to check your answers? You did 5, Andre? Well, Andre, check your work. Grade yourself and be honest. Grade your work and be honest. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and share my self-paced link with you. Oh, no, I'm not going to yet share self-paced link, but I'm just going to wait a little for the self-paced link. I'm going to wait a little. Maddie, hold tight. Okay, I am here to help. We will practice just one more, and then I will let the class practice on their own. Those who know how to do the topic, you will practice on your own. The rest, we will practice together. Here's the next one. I will turn the timer on for another just 2 minutes, right? You did 4, Amani. Okay, well, this time, let's practice writing numbers in scientific notation. Timer has started. There are still 8 questions. Maddie, give it a try. Be in Nearpod so I can see your work. If I will be able to see your work, Maddie, I can give you some feedback. Maddie L. Right? For me to see where you are, just do something. Show me something. What do you think? How will you write in scientific notation? 2-minute timer started. 1 minute 36 seconds remaining. This is Zara. Zara, very good, Zara. Very good. Let me see. This is Rania. Very good, dear. And Salone is thinking. Yes, working it out also. Carmen, good. The rest of you were thinking and doing. 1 minute remaining. One minute remaining. Maddie, join Nearpod so I can see your work. Johnny, what happened? Kelly, Dariana. Let me see Amani your work and give you feedback. Amani, I agree to you. I'm very proud of you, dear. Even this shows me that you know how to do it. Very good, Amani. Felice, excellent. Johnny, yeah, give it a power. 1.9 times 10 to the power. It's gonna be negative power, right? Oh, I see a negative sign is coming up. No, Maddie, I'm gonna help you. But be Nearpod, Maddie, so I can see what you're doing so far. See? Yeah. That is 6. Let me see for Johnny. 1, 2, 3, 4. Johnny, can you count how many places you really moved? Is it 6 or 4? Check that out. Okay. Time to check our answers. I'll just give you some time. Some of you did some did not do as many as you did last time, but did fewer. Check your work. This is how my answer key looks like. Please check your work. Maddie, you're in Nearpod with M. Okay, I got you. I got you. I'm glad that you are. We'll practice this skill together. We'll drill it down. Everybody, you guys checked your answers? Here is the link to my self-paced. I know some of you have mastered it. And if you will stay with us longer, we will slow you down. Okay? I'm going to be honest. If you will stay with us any longer, we will slow you down. We don't want that. Here is the link to the self-paced. Okay, move to a table of your choice. Sit quietly, nicely, practice and check your work. These slides that we were doing right now are slide number, we are on slide 16. Okay, move on from here. Move on forward, or you want to practice more, drill more. Slide 14 and 16 is what we were trying to drill. People who think they have mastered, please move on to the self-paced so we can help those who need a little extra help. Okay, here we are. So Maddie, my first number is not in question 9. Question 9 says the number is 400, right? I want to make number 1. I'm thinking, is it a big number or a small number? Is it in decimals? Like 0.00? It's not, right, Maddie? Right, Maddie? It's not. It's not 0.00 kind of a number. It is 400. 400 is a nice, decent, big number. So I know whenever I will convert it, it will have a 10 to the positive power, right? It will have a 10 to a positive power. But let's think about the number that will go here. That number will have just ones, and then the rest after decimals. How will I change 400 so that it will just have ones? Can you tell me where the decimal point will go? Anybody else in the class can also type in the chat, hop on the mic and discuss their answers. 400. Scientists don't want to see hundreds. They just want to see ones. So what they will do, they will place the decimal here, Maddie. Mani got it. They'll place a decimal here. Okay, Maddie? Then the ones becomes a 4. Out of the 400, they got a 4. 4.00 or 4 times 10 to the power what? Let's see. The real decimal was right here. So they were moving 1, 2 places, Maddie. And 400 was not actually a small number. It was a big number. They gave a power of 2. Now this is the scientific notation. That's how scientists will write down 400. This is the scientific notation, 4 times 10 to the power of 2. Okay, let's try question 10. Question 10 says 72,000. Okay, Maddie, think about, and everybody else, think about 72,000 is a big number, right? 72,000 is a big number, right? So I know that 10 will have a positive power. And then scientists do not want 72,000. They want a number in ones. In ones, they will have just ones. So where will they place the decimal? I agree to you, Maddie. They'll place a decimal right here. Make it 7.2, right? And we can say 7.2. But how many decimals were actually moved? 1, because the decimal, the real decimal was here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the power is gonna be 4. Does that make sense? Now, Maddie, wait, that doesn't end the story. We're gonna look at the small numbers also, right? Let me clean my slide and let's look at the. You want to choose a number, class? Do you want to choose a number from the practice and tell me which one we can practice together? But choose a small number. Can we practice number 15? Let's look at number 15. Right? Now it is a really small number. I know because it's 0.000. It's a small number. I know that I will have times 10 to the negative power because I'm actually representing a small number. Where will the scientist put a decimal? So it will have ones and the ones will not be a 0. Ones needs to be big. It's not supposed to be 0. It's supposed to be between 1 and less than 10. Type in the chat. Someone want to tell me where the scientist will put the decimal? They're going to put the decimal right here between the 2 and the 6. Right? So the number becomes 2. See, now we have the ones. 6, 2, 1. And I will put all the digits over here. Don't miss no digit. 2.621. That is where the scientist will put the decimal. Well, if the scientist will do that, what power will they give to 10? How many places were moved? Type in the chat. Let me know. I am waiting. Negative 6. Let's see if that is true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is going to be a negative 6 power. That is accurate, JJ. 2.621 times 10 to the power of negative 6 because there were 6 places that the decimal was moved. We still have a minute. Let's try another one. Let's try 16. Okay. Now 16 is another smaller number. I'm going to do times 10 to a negative power. Where will the scientist first put the decimal so that it will have ones? The ones will not be 0. Where will the scientist put the decimal? I am waiting. Where will the scientist put the decimal? So the ones is not going to be a 0. I'm not hearing from Andre, Amy, Amani. Yeah, you're right. The power is -2. And the scientist will put a decimal over here. See? The ones becomes 5. So once is 5. Then you put a decimal. You put the next digit 008. 5.008. Don't miss any digits. You're supposed to have all your digits. Well, how many places were actually moved? Only 2. See? 1, 2, 1, 2. Only 2 places were moved, so -2. Okay. I did share with you guys the link to Self-Paced Nearpod. It is also embedded in online school. Please, please, please practice a little before you come to tomorrow's class so we can drill better in tomorrow's class and actually look at STAR test kind of questions. Thank you so much for joining.